Hi everyone. Got a set of numbers here that look like they could be a parabola. To someone who's never looked before, they'll have no idea that that could possibly be a parabola. So let's have a look over here and plot some of the points. I had 0, -6, it's about there somewhere. I'm only doing it rough, don't need exact measurements here. 1 -1 means I go to 1, I come down here to about there, to -1. 2 and 6, so I go to 2 and I come up here to 6. Try to do it reasonably accurately, even on a rough diagram. And 3, 15. So if I go 3 and come up here to 15, you can see that they're not a straight line. They're not curved a lot, but you can see they're not a straight line. Possibly a parabola. So let's find out if this is a parabola. Sometimes it can look like a parabola, it might be a cubic, it might be something else. But let's have a look at this. First of all, I want to show you what happens with a set of numbers, and we're going to do the first difference and second difference. What's the difference between 15 and 26? It's 11. Is it going up or is it going down? This relates to some of that increasing, decreasing stuff. You can see from 15 to 26 it's increased by 11. How much has it increased by from 6 to 15? It's increased by 9. Now a lot of times we don't teach it as increasing. Once you get the idea of how much it increased from there to there, it's 7. The simple rule is, first difference is 26 take 15 is 11. Then the 15 take the 6 is 9. Then the 16 take the -1 is 7, and so many people go wrong with the negatives. And then the tricky one, -1 -6. So -1 subtract -6. -1, 2 negatives make a positive if they're next to each other. So 2 negatives make a positive, they're next to each other, plus 6. So -1 plus 6 is 5. Interesting that these go 5, 7, 9, 11. It's one of the hints that this is a parabola. Now we do the second differences. 11 take 9. What's the difference between 9 and 11? It's 2. Is it going up or is it going down? Because they're going up, it's a positive. What do we do in simplicity? 11 take 9 is 2. 9 take 7 is 2. And 7 take 5 is 2. Interesting going from right to left, and we're used to reading left to right. You don't actually need to read from right to left. You can go here, how far is it from -6 to -1? It's 5. How far is it from -1 to 6? It's 7. You can go through that process. Now, what does this mean? Always I like to start with the numbers where possible first, and then we'll talk about the algebra and show how that relates to this down here. A lot of people struggle with this, especially at first, but let's see what we can do. If I substitute a 0 into this equation. So here's an equation in what we call general form. In general form we have it written as and x squared, an x and a constant. And of course they're going to have coefficients, so we'll call the coefficients A. That's a coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x is b, then the number by itself is called the constant, that's c. So if I substitute 0 in place of that x and in place of that x, that will be 0a plus 0b plus c, and we're left with just c. If I substitute 1 in, we're going to replace x by 1, I'll go over to here. I'll have, if x equals 1, we'll have y equals a by 1 squared, take my time, b times 1 plus c. So we've substituted 1 in place of x. So this is all about substituting x values to get the y value. And each time we substitute x value, we get a y value, we get 1 point on the graph. Let's have a look what that means. So now I've got 1a plus 1b plus c. So that means if I substitute 1 into any parabola anywhere, anytime, in general form, I get a plus b plus c. And we go through that process, I'll do a bit more of it. If we substitute 2, in other words, if we replace that x by 2 and that x by 2, I'll have a by 2 squared. I'll have b by 2 plus the c again. Let's have a look what that means. It means I'll have 2 2s of 4a by 2 plus 2b plus c. So when I substitute 2 into any parabola in general form, I'll have a 4a plus a 2b plus a c. Now we keep the process going and I'll shortcut it. 3 into there will be 9a. 3 into there will be 3b. Remember, we're replacing the x's, we're not replacing the a's and the b's and the c's. Plus c. So how did I get the first difference up here? I can go that, take that, that, take that, that, take that, that, take that. Interesting, now it's easier to go that, take that. So if I do the algebra down here, I'd have a plus b plus c minus c. And I end up getting just a plus b. So that's a plus b. If I do this one now, 4a plus 2b plus c minus all of, watch out for the brackets. So this is actually, to get this one here, is that, take that, which is 3a. So here it is here, 4a, take a. This one here is 2b, take b, is 1b. So here I've got 2b minus b. And here I've got c, take c is gone. So over here I can go c, take c. And I'm left with 3a plus b. So there's my 3a plus b. So if you get the hang of it, now you can just go 9a take 4a is 5a, 3b take 2b is 1b, and the c take c is gone. Interesting, they all have plus b, and they go a, 3a, 5a. Now to get the second difference, we would have gone 7 take 5, 9 take 11, etc. So over here now, instead of writing it all down here, 3a take a is 2a, and b take b is gone. 5a take 3a is 2a, and b take b is gone. So now we can look at each of these, and we've got, it tells us that c is minus 6. It tells us that a plus b is 5, and it tells us that 2a is 2. So we want to know what the a, the b and the c are. We already know that c equals minus 6. This is a nice one as well. It tells us that twice the a is 2. So 2a equals 2, so I can write equations. I can go over here and go 2a equals 2, so a equals 1. So I already know that a equals 1 now. I already knew that c equaled minus 6. So now I can calculate the other letter, which is b. So a plus b has to equal 5. A plus b has to equal 5. We know that a was 1. So we now know that b equals 4. So we have now an equation. I've run out of room. The actual equation is, I'll just go up here. We found out that a was 1, so 1x squared. The b was 4 plus 4x, and the c was minus 6. So if you have a look at my parabola down over here, if I drew this parabola in, you can see that it looks like it's true. We know it is true. We don't have to write the 1, but we do, sometimes. There's a minus 6, which is a y-intercept from the previous videos. And we now know that that information is that parabola. Method goes back before complicated computer programs and class pack calculators. It's a great method. We'll use that method now for more complicated questions. So I'll do another video with more complicated ones, and then we'll apply it to other types of graphs as well. Thank you.